Hello, hello. Welcome. Some more Scrim Zone. It is a great and wonderful Thursday, and it looks like that we're going to be having a matchup between Rift Sharks and Albert's Inferno today. And today I'm joined by not only Sandy, but I'm also joined by another great friend in Ribbons.
Hello.
Hello.
So, one big thing is, for this game in particular, we are going to be just seeing, you know, it's nothing too crazy. It's just Albert's Inferno versus Rift Sharks. Their starting rosters, no substitutes. That is all she wrote. And I believe, just checking the pregame predictions, there is a lot of people who have voted for Rift Sharks as opposed to Albert's Inferno. Not saying they can't do it or they can't pull
Oh
off.
wow, the poll
However,
is a lot closer when it opened.
yeah.
I remember looking earlier and it was I think 8-6, and now it is 19-6.
That is.
Yeah, a lot of people have cast in their lot with the Rift Sharks for this specific game. Um, at the moment, we are just waiting on draft, but for this game in particular, Sandy, what are you specifically looking for, when it comes to both these teams?
Well, I think Sharks this season and last season has in draft frequently been defined by Fishy. I think he's kind of a ban magnet, pulls at least two, I think, every game in the first rotation. So now that we're not in Fearless, I actually wonder if teams will start dropping that just down to the Lilia. That wasn't the case during their last series against BT, I don't believe, but I do think that it could be a viable strategy if people believe that there's, one key character on another player that's worth banning. Could be something from Frintic, could be something from Snow, not sure. But I think in a non-fearless setting, it actually makes more sense to spread the bans out, hit kind of the most important thing for each person instead of, spending two or three bans on the same person. And on the side of Albert's Inferno, I think what was banned last year? I think it was like the Lilia, Varus, and Akali. I think was getting banned into them when QC was playing into them. And notably, the Lilia is a shared character, so there's a lot of priority on the Lilia for both teams. So I expect blue to be the favored side, but it actually looks like Rift Sharks have opted for red. So we'll see if they have a strategy into the Lilia or if they'll ban it. I think that's, to me, going to be the key character to look at and strategy that both teams are going to have to think about. Either give up the Lilia to blue side, let them take it and draft something into it, or lose a ban to the other team and make up for that in the rest of the draft.
Yeah, last series I didn't see too much of it. It looks like that um, the bans generally were the Lilia and then the Nocturne um, against Rift Sharks, as well as the Lock as well. It looks like too. They do have a Lock player on their team.
Yeah, heavy priority on that character just in general right now. Character's really strong. Teams don't really want to give it up, especially when McKinley on QC is cooking up crazy score lines every time he gets his hand on the champ. I think that makes the other teams wary of the champ. So I actually don't think any other game has seen a lock besides the two that QC got it. Could be wrong about that though.
And yeah, I think that one of the bright spots for the side of Albert's Inferno is the fact that they do have uh some time playing together. So I think that that familiarity is definitely something that they can lean towards more as opposed to Rift Sharks. However, Rift Sharks did look quite convincing in their win against PT in both games. So I am a bit concerned to see what might quite happen. And also, notably, PT also banned, I believe, Urgot and Mordekaiser away from Dean specifically.
Yeah, I think they were putting Spiral on tanky characters, so they wanted to get rid of the counters that were available at that point.
And that is quite
Rubens, what's
fair.
your prediction for the series?
I am going with Rift Sharks 2-0.
Why is that?
Personally. I think, I mean, just looking at their last series, I think that Albert's got a lot of their signature champions and did not really look that convincing on them. I think, on the other hand, you've got on Rift Sharks basically a roster that you can't ban a majority of their players. You usually don't even think about banning them. Like, for example, Snow. You're not throwing bans at him. He plays 100 and or he's oh, looks like we're going into draft.
Here we are.
But he's played 179 games and he's played 74 unique champions. I don't know how you approach banning a player like that. So I think that they're focusing here on banning Fishy is correct.
Yeah, it looks like they do still focus two bans on Fishy. Now for the Syndra last. Really strong character. Very dominant, and they opt for the Nocturne pick, which we haven't seen as much of recently. It's been, I think this is the first Nocturne game. I believe it's been banned in around half the games, maybe a little more.
Yeah, it has been banned a lot.
And they quickly take the Kayn and the Ezreal. So some Snow Ezreal. I'm excited to see this. And Fishy Kayn. Don't see it every day, but it is one he's been known to take when Lilia and Hecarim are gone. And Albert's Inferno goes for the Jinx again. This is their fourth game of the season and their fourth game of Jinx. And they slammed the Orianna, getting that Nocturne Orianna pairing. I'm not sure. I'd heard that they might have patched the interaction to make it harder to pull off, but I don't play Orianna much myself, so I can't say whether or not that's the case. But if somebody in chat knows, and we are seeing lock. Very exciting stuff. Who do you think they're going to be banning in the second rotation, y'all?
They're. I mean, for the side of Rift Sharks, are probably looking to throw bans top, and for Alberts, I'd imagine most likely banning supports.
Yeah. I think we're gonna go with the melee ban and the volley ban. Silas ban as well.
Oh,
They're banning Silas, and they've already picked the mid and ADC on the side of Rift Sharks and jungle. So that's just worried about support or top. Silas can basically go wherever he wants. So I'm curious what they're going to pick here that they need to ban the Silas top.
with the Mord ban, it might be looking for a Malphite angle, especially if they made Nocturne Orianna harder. I think Malphite is kind of a safe another bet to get that.
Is
Orianna
Malphite good
ult down.
into this team? I feel like it's not a great option, personally. Ezreal can buffer the E. Kayn can potentially smite ult. And probably shouldn't be the target you go for anyways.
That's pretty true. Locke has his teleport
W
as well.
and E. Yeah, multiple. I mean, you can just tank all the damage or dodge. Shyvana top.
It's quite the choice.
And now the Sylas ban is making some sense. Ever since the Shyvana rework, Sylas has been... Shyvana ult has gone from one of the worst ults on Sylas to one of the best. The ratios on Shyvana spells and the kind of overlap between items has gotten a lot better. You're no longer just a one spell character as AP Shyvana. And they choose to round out their comp with the Ornn. I think that makes a lot of sense. I honestly don't think that the Sylas would have been picked anyways. I think they want somebody to be able to frontline for them a little more. Give a harder first kill for this Jinx. Which team do y'all favor so far? Or I guess after the draft, which team would you two favor?
I would favor Sharks. Ever so very not like I don't think it's like super like winning though. I don't know. I feel like Albert's Inferno actually has like a pretty like decent like bridge like to the mid game with their comp. And Rift Sharks doesn't have like too many tools of like doing anything about that. Which kind of makes it kind of hard for Rift Sharks like to find like I feel like it's just hard for them to find opportunities from in like the early game with their comp. I think that Nocturne kind of shuts that down. I think Orianna, the way she like kind of just functions in general is just she pretty much prevents. She kind of just a very like big lane bully, so you don't get to like get like such like easy roams as like Locke. You can't like just shove and roam like if you do ever really want to, like, especially if it's like against Orianna. They have ways of protecting the Jinx, Robert's Inferno, and meanwhile on the other side for Rift Sharks, they have like I think they do have like they have good damage. I think Locke and Ezreal have like a high amount of DPS. They have a decent front line. They have engage, but I think that a lot of those tools are actually can be quite well answered by Albert's Inferno in this draft.
Millie, what do you think?
I think I actually favor Albert's Inferno here in the draft. I think that this Tarek pick, well, it kind of looks somewhat interesting. I think it's a really good answer into both the Kayn and the Rakan. I mean, in lane, it kind of shuts down any of Rakan's playmaking ability, and then later on in team fights, like bridging into like mid to late game, it's like a really surefire way to get your Jinx online. You could just drop the Tarek ult, and then she gets to go super aggro and get the reset with the Nocturne Ori combo. I really like that. I'm not sure about the Shyvana. I think it makes sense to ban those two champs, especially the Mordekaiser. You're playing a stat stick top lane. You kind of want to make sure that you're not giving Mordekaiser a billion stats when he ults. So I really like Inferno draft here.
Yeah, I agree. I like a lot of elements of Inferno's draft. I do know that Canuck was saying when we were playing Arena earlier today that he had some special picks. I'm guessing the Shyvana top is one of them. So that's kind of the big wild card, as you said, that I don't know how to assess. But we've talked a lot about the Orianna Nocturne combo. Orianna Jinx is another really classic combo where Orianna is able to put the ball on Jinx, drop the W, just give MS to the Jinx, and let her basically play the fight as well as she's able to. And you lean more towards Orianna's utility. So I think the first three picks on the side of Albert's Inferno is just really, really cohesive. And it's also very much their style. I would say. I think they've kind of established their style last season, and they've stuck to it pretty hard this season as well with the 3 games against QC. And I think the Rift Sharks draft can work and can make sense. And I think, you can even potentially bait out the Tarkult with maybe the Ornult or something. But I just am not sure if these are characters that Rift Sharks has practiced with each other as much. Whereas I'm certain that Albert's Inferno has played these characters with each other, so I think they have a little bit of an edge going into this game 1. That being said, I do think we didn't talk about it before draft, unfortunately. I was going to predict 2-0 from Rift Sharks. I think that, I put them first in my power ranking, and I do think that I underrated Albert's Inferno. I think if I could go back and change my power rankings, I would bump them up a bit. But I still think that, Rift Sharks is my first place team. I really do think that they will have a great season. And I know that Albert's Inferno has practiced with each other a lot in the past, and they've played together. It's the same team from last season. But I know Rift Sharks, every time Dean makes his team, he makes consistent scrims practice a priority. So I know that they are also going to be well practiced. They're not going to be strangers at this point, even though it's only week 2 of the season.
We are getting into game just about now. Let's look at it a bit more.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Sarva's opted for the Conqueror lock. Lock has kind of 2 main pages that people go for.
Minions
There's the
have
Conquer
spawned.
page and the Electrocute page. Conquer's a little more versatile. Lets you play fights a little slower. Electrocute gives you a bit more strength in lane and more burst, but doesn't have the flexibility of Conquer. And Omar's opted for Sturm Surge, so not as strong a laning rune as well. Opting for the ability to move around in the fights in the mid to late game. Both top laners have Grasp. Grasp Shyvana, this truly is a cook. I feel like I haven't heard of this build before.
This is definitely a cook. This was starting with the DM as well.
I have played with a Shyvana top player before. They did go Conqueror, and it did look really flippy gameplay.
Really not. Ooh, actually, Spare's taking actually a trick on the mid lane. Not sure quite want to take that. An arcade shift forward by Snow. Spawn with the battle dance. Getting the knock up. It's frantic, and actually Teddy taking a lot of damage. He's also getting burned on O'Brien. Just so doesn't take as much damage from those auto attacks.
Really huge trade for the side of Rift Sharks. Oh, but
yeah, Frantic actually getting his flash burned.
they lost the trade, but they're up 2 sums.
And Omar gonna have
Ghost
to
burned that.
yeah, Ghost is gone.
Literally, it's also D-Helm on the Shyvana. I don't know if that was mentioned, but
That might have been. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting choice though. There's actually a lot of Richard Mills mid lane. The Ashen Pursuit. Ignite burned. Where's the flash? Omar is Severus.
the Shyvana top seems to be doing really well. Winning on the trades and has to be pushing in to him, so... Oh, he's shoved it, so We'll see if Ornn is able to find a base here.
As Kane hovering behind the Albert's Inferno bot lane turret might be looking for a dive. He's just gonna finish his recall.
Yeah, I'm really haven't seen that many Tarks, but I'm surprised at the ability to heal up after that rough early trade with the turret queues.
They're also notably still have 4 summoners, so I imagine they're pretty happy to
Yeah, this arc can
hang out.
forward with Mystic Shot. Actually, dodge away from the dazzle. Jinx traps do come out, but no one gets caught by them. So still a lot of pressure put on this bot side, man. No visit by either jungler just yet. No looks like that there is a dash from the against Severus. None of the ritual nails actually connect that time. But Omar might have just walked a bit too far forward because Fishy now has arrived. And you might just see a flash forward. And yeah, there is a flash forward. The ritual nails are available. The assistance from Fishy helps Bears get the first blood in the mid lane.
And that was getting that flash earlier by himself in exchange for the Ignite. Gave that opportunity for Fishy to guarantee the kill. So good job from the side of Rift Sharks there.
Meanwhile, in the top side, he's having a game of games. I think that the response is definitely interesting to see. It is into Ornn, but still, Ornn is nothing to scoff at, especially when he against it.
Sheen and Tier for the Ezreal. Jinx is just now basing. We'll see what the purchase is. Pickaxe, boot refill, okay.
I suppose it would be new.
Looking on Omar again, actually. The Purgatory doesn't quite connect on the side of Severus.
Oh my word, that was a moment where didn't have vision, thought the Orianna would be walking directly to the tower, but Omar was actually walking up to Albert, who was in the enemy jungle. So
That could have been a bit dicey, but
yeah, a little impatient on the ult. Didn't think that Omar would be walking up out of the bush. Game's still quite even, apart from the kill. Only a small gold lead for Rift Sharks besides the first blood.
definitely one of the more slower games I've seen so far in Spring Zone. In fact, maybe it's definitely one of the slowest. What's just happening? I think both teams are just kind of biding their time. And I kind of get it. I mean, like, you really don't feel the need to make too many crazy plays. Looks like, however, there's a solution. However, the Paranoia is burned. The shotgun actually lands onto both members of Rift Shark, and this is going to be a danger here. The spear doesn't quite connect as it is ulted away for the Uncle Trespass. No one is trying to trade. Dazzle actually lands onto both members of the Rift Shark bot lane. The Duke Caps also set up the root onto Snow as well. The other attacks for Lethal Tempo are being burned down. It looks like that Brian will end up falling down to Snow, and Dazzle is going to be dodged away from him. Snow trying to get himself away, but the Mystic Shot doesn't quite connect to refresh any more cooldowns, and so both AD carries will fall down at the end of all of that. But no kills happen in the mid lane as both sides just walk away there.
Well, as you were saying, it's slow. Two fights happen back to back, or I guess simultaneously, mid and bot. And I'm kind of surprised at the mid result. Sort of flashed away, but then walked right back into the Orianna ult. And I think, honestly, panicked a little bit. I don't know if they had the damage to burst him through the W. Could have, I think, baited a little harder and gotten a kill out of it, but not entirely sure if that's the case.
Not sure if that is the case at all. Fishy put himself a substantial farm lead. Looks like that goes just out of the pit for a bit to around, but doesn't quite find anything.
Yeah, now we're seeing CS leads really start to build up. The top lane has 10 CS in the favor of Albert's Inferno, but every other role has a CS lead on the side of Rift Sharks.
As first dragon going over to Rift Shark.
Yeah, first dragon, pretty nice. It's an ocean dragon. You're definitely gonna want that if you are on the side of Rift Sharks.
Void Grub's going over to Albert's Inferno though, so I mean I honestly think first dragon itself doesn't really do much. It gets you closer to the soul, and more importantly, I think for certain comps it slows down the progression of the enemy's soul. But I think Albert's Inferno could be happy with taking the grubs in this exchange, where you potentially get some more gold through early plates. But to be honest, they haven't really been pushing in mid-bot much. It's mainly been them getting pushed in, so I don't think they'll get that much value out of it in those lanes. They gotta hope that they can push a gold lead top lane on the Shyvana and make something come from it.
Yeah, you really do have to hope for something here. As it looks like that there might be maybe
A nice spell
Fishy
shield
just
from
gets knocked away by the blast cannon. Spell shield is really nice, as not much else to be had.
Now I don't play the new Shyvana. What's the damage makeup like? Is it mostly magic? Because I'm seeing Dean opt for what I think is going to be the Hall of Radiance here. And I would think that it'd be
depends on the build, but it's primarily AD damage.
Yeah, there is a there is oh wow. Thank you, Mr. Vapor J. Thank you for those tier 1 subs. That is very appreciated for the stream. In fact, Sandy, you actually got a sub there. See that? You got a tier 1 sub.
Yeah, I just got a sub. Good thing I'm watching.
Good thing you are watching. Anyway, yeah, but shout out to Vapor J. That's really kind of you, sir. As we are in a bout of bouts. Well, yeah, the Mystic Shot does connect onto Brian. But
Yeah, I think definitely slower pace than some of the other ones. I generally say that that's a good sign. I think the more controlled that you play, you know, it's reflecting that you're making less mistakes that are being capitalized on by your opponents. So probably less entertaining to see this than, you know, Bloodbath early on, but I think it'll mean that we will have a more exciting mid to late game that is less one-sided than we've seen in some of the other games so far in the tournament.
And I mean, this is the part where we start talking about tiramisu.
yeah, exactly. Oh man. Surely people would not get angry about tiramisu and Cass was talking about it.
Was that an actual thing that happened?
Yes.
Yes.
Fortunately, people got very mad at the LCK casters for talking about tiramisu when there was, like, I think only like 2 kills in like a 15-minute game. And I mean,
Well, we got 2 minutes left to get a fourth.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Lichbane completion, Voltaic completion. Now this is indicating, I think, that it's going to be a blue can game. I think you really could have gone both ways here, but I think this will maximize more on the initiation from the Recon and the Ornn, trying to probably flash on top of their CC and make the other team erupt.
One would hope for an eruption. As it looks like that, however, they might have found Fishy here. The Dazzle is turned out. A nice Orianna combo, actually, to interrupt the quickness. The Taric ultimate only gets onto Brian just a bit into the nick of time. He doesn't quite get the reset here. They're actually going for the Jinx, but Jinx's front line, you really don't want to see that. The Umbral Trespass actually onto Albert is just really nice, as it does end up taking him down. Severus able to get away. Canuck is here, and this is a big, very big angry dragon. But guess what? Snow is a dragon slayer himself, and he might just take him down, and Severus is there to finish him off. A killing spree for himself. Really nicely done by the side of Rift Sharks to play that fight. It looked like, I thought it would look really good, but they just killed the Taric almost instantly at the beginning of all that. Teddy, I mean, he just, like, Mr. Hong Baba cannot live for very long at all.
Yeah, I also think, I mean, you're at the point in the game where, yeah, it's neat if you can get the Ori Nocturne combo, but your Orianna doesn't have, 4 items. It's not one-shotting anybody. You definitely want your Orianna to be involved in the fight, and that was really the only contribution that Omar made, because he was on the wrong side of the wall. Had to walk all the way around, and by the time that was done, the fight was basically over. So, kind of an outmanned fight, and once again, you mentioned the Taric ult not coming in time. Just led to them kind of getting ripped apart, and now the Golding has grown tremendously in favor of Rift Sharks.
Yeah,
Dean was able to freely punch the top tower during all of that. Didn't even bother coming down. And for good reason too, the CS lead has shored up, and now there's a big plate lead, so even top lane, which was going well for Albert's Inferno, is behind at this point.
Yeah, I mean, them committing Canuck TP there and Alvin fight kind of disastrous for his lane. Cerberus going in mid lane, getting a nice trade. But them committing the first dragon, trading that for the Void Grubs, I kind of thought it meant that Canuck was going to play for the sideline, and I think him TPing there kind of confused me a little bit.
I mean, Soul Ignition, like, with Rock, like, your health is, like, so tradable. Or, and you're not really trading it, because you're just trying to get it back.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only source of 100% gray health conversion in the game, which I think is just very conceptually flawed. You could argue Rengar has it, but that you're having to use a lot more in Rengar in order to do it compared to Locke. I think that they keep changing the wrong stuff. In my opinion, they really just need to get rid of that to make the character, like, fine to be in the game. Because that way you can at least trade into them and have some of your damage stick.
Yeah, it looks like, however, they might be inkling a bot play here. I mean, the Ross has arrived, and they have found the carrot along with the Nocturne. As it looks like they are trying to ult out. It looks like, however, they might have gone a bit too far. I mean, the Taric ult is now burned. So here comes the Purgatory on top, onto 2 members of AI. However, the exhaust is burned onto Severus. And it looks like that the Paranoia is still available. The Dazzle doesn't quite connect on anyone, but it's a nice Blaze Reach from Fishy. And he goes in, and 2 kills for his carries. Nicely done by the side of Rift Sharks. Everything going according to textbook.
And I want to point out here, when I saw the Voltaic, I said that to me would indicate that it's maybe a blue game, but Fishy opted for the red, and the knock up there ended up being key for them getting those kills, so I wonder what the second item will be. I really used to play a lot of Kayn back when I was a jungler, but have not done it in a long time. I know this quote-unquote purple Kayn build where you go lethally on red has been a thing for a while, but didn't know that it was going to be coming out this game. Yeah,
I
only
think
only
Voltaic
one
is-
kill inside of AI.
I think Voltaic is just such a disgusting item. You do just build that on a lot of bruisers as well.
Very true. 25 lethality is not an okay amount for an item to have, in my opinion. And that'll mean that you really need to build some resistances.
Burned out here, so they're looking for a plan to front. He does have the dragon, possibly getting up safety. Territory is burned as well. I mean, with the shield, you can't live for a while. This dragon and the shockwave only connects onto Frentic. Looks like, however, they might be looking for a turn here. I'm not sure if they can really look for anything at all. The Paranoia is still available. The is now burned. Frentic can be looking for a play. Actually finds 3. Gets the Battle Dance knock up as well. And Severus can be looking for something here, but maybe Frentic going a bit too far forward. They don't actually quite kill the Rakan. It looks like this fight is just so split for the side of Albert's Inferno. Dean takes down Honglava on the one side, and then Snow takes down the Canuck on the other side. Meanwhile, however, Jinx does end up getting a huge shutdown. He kills Severus, and Severus went in to go ahead and take down Albert. 3 for 1. Still going in favor of Rift Sharks. I don't see how should be able to give himself safety.
Now this lock build is interesting to me. Bloodletter second when you're not quite solo AP. You do have the Ornn's magic damage, but I don't think that is going to pressure them that much, especially when you have a Ezreal and a Lethality Kayn that are doing really well. I think you could have opted for a different item in the second slot, maybe a Rocket Belt, or you know, you could even go for some flat pin like a Storm Surge or something. But going for the Bloodletter second gives a lot of bulk. And Alternator makes me think maybe it's the Rocket Belt third. And that's a typical item to go on this Conqueror playstyle. Even when you have as many dashes as Locke has, an extra one is always nice.
I'm surprised we don't see it on the Ornn.
I only know one Rocket Belt Ornn player. Speaking of Ornn, we're seeing some artifacts come out. Lichbane being the first one. I believe that just gives raw AP. Could you hover over it for me? I think the Lichbane upgrade. No, it also gives some haste. Okay. Storm Surge is when I like getting upgraded because it's the nice 50 AP upgrade. But I think these Ornn upgrades are just going to make the game even harder to approach from the side of Albert's Inferno. You really, if you're doing this Orion and Nocturne thing, need to be even or ahead. If you fall behind the pace of the game, you're not going to have any threat with that combo.
He has the ultimate available. He's not going to burn it. He's just going to get killed. Ornn burned. Canuck taken down. There is a pause. Looks like that. Oh, Canuck actually DC'd there, so very unfortunate timing for him.
I don't know if he could have lived that, to be honest, at least after the Kayn ult came through. I'm not sure when the disconnection happened, but Kayn has a lot of max HP damage, and when you build lethality and cut through that armor, it becomes really potent. So this Trinity Riftmaker build with not very many resistances, Kayn's going to cut through that like butter. And we're also seeing on the Nocturne Hexplate Stride Breaker, it's going to be butter for Kayn. And for the Ornn as well. Ornn, people can really underestimate the damage. A lot of max HP damage, but it is magic, so you can build resistances for it to cut it down by a lot, but you do need to invest in them. But it's going to be hard. There's kind of so much damage coming from both damage types that it's hard to build for either resistance, or it's hard to build for either, harder to build for both, especially when you're 10k gold behind the other team at this point.
Yeah, significantly behind so far in this game, and it is looking quite difficult to angle for anything. I mean, you just gotta really hope for like some like just miracle like Jinx reset at this point in the game.
I think
I feel like that is the path to victory.
they're probably going to look to stall the game to get Jinx her LDR and take a really risky fight either on Soul Point or at the next Baron. I'm assuming that this Baron is just going to go over to Rift Sharks after here. Canuck did just go down, and that is a significant portion of their power right now. But if I was in this position, that's probably. I mean, that's the only way I see Albert's making it back into this game from this current position.
Yeah, I mean, I think they need a steal, and even then, they'll be behind still many thousands of gold and 3 dragons and 5 towers, or not quite 5 towers. I think they're about to get this top tower though.
I don't think the steal would be enough. I think if they get a good Jinx reset, win the fight, and get the Baron, maybe.
Yeah, that'll even it out, maybe. Game has fallen apart for Albert's Inferno.
But on the topic of builds, I have not seen this this Shyvana build before. I think typically what I see is Kraken into Dusk Dawn and then either Shojin or Riftmaker. I think maybe the Triforce gives you more dueling power in the side lane, so you might be looking for that. But it is kind of rough to look for 1v1s when there's a Kayn who can very easily go through a ton of walls and ruin your day.
I mean, I don't want to talk about next game as if this one's already over, but I kind of feel like it is. Maybe people on AI think so as well, and they were thinking, what do we do for next game? What changes do you think they need to make to stay in the game earlier on? Because it really was, I think, 9 minutes in that the game fell apart for them, and I think they need to change their game plan some way to fix that. I think maybe picking stuff that's stronger early to give them some more fighting power at that point could help. Or maybe even just, I mean, I truly think you should take more aggressive runes as the Orianna in this matchup.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think that just trying to like set like the lock like behind is like the way that you ensure that things go a bit more smoothly. However, they didn't quite pull that off. So this is the result that we do get. Spirits had a pretty good game. Fishy's had a really good game, along with Snow as well. I think Frente actually has had probably the best game so far out of everyone though. He's been really, really solid on the Rakan in this game.
Yeah, deathless game so far. Key part of all the fights that have gone well for the side of Rift Sharks. And I think played the lane well as well. Definitely a good game for Frentic. I think Rakan is one of the staple champions for Frentic, and focusing so much on banning Fishy leaves stuff like that open for Frentic. I think that's one of the risks, or I guess just trade-offs with focusing so many of your bans into the same player, is you let the rest of the team be very comfortable with their picks. And once again, it's not fearless, so next game we could see the Rakan come out again. Looks like in chat that they're saying the internet is hopefully fixed.
Hopefully soon.
Do we think we're going to get the 5th Brian Jinx game?
I really hope they change it up. I think that was one of my biggest gripes with the QC series is they played it game 1. It was good game 1. I think that QC drafted a comp that Jinx does really well into. And then game 2, they did it again. Didn't look as good to me. And they ended up losing that one. I think at that point, I mean, I truly think if you're the losing team, you need to reassess your strategy. And draft is a big part of that. And they opted for very, very similar draft between game 2 and 3. And had a very similar result. I think they've lost this game in a pretty decisive way. I don't think that bot lane necessarily is the biggest issue, but I do think they need to try and change something up to make the result different. And I think swapping out the Jinx could be a way to do that. Because I really don't think you need to ban the Jinx unless you're drafting a certain way. At least on current patch.
I think I somewhat agree. I think Jinx is one of those champs that's really flexible in like the style you can play her in. So I wouldn't mind seeing the Jinx again. I would like to see it paired with some more I guess solid follow-up tools, because I mean it's kind of split between disengage and engage at the same time. But if this were like say a Viego, you're both gunning for the resets, it's much easier to like kind of focus down one target is another, I think, a big thing that needs to happen for Jinx to be successful. Just kill enemy and you all click on the same die.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think... I think the game really blew up after that first fight, which they just didn't set up for very well. So I think you could try something really similar, but I'm just personally against trying the same thing after it doesn't work.
I can make that.
I think that's a, you know, you shelf it for the series, come back to it, VOD review it, scrim it again, figure out what's making it not work. But I really do just think you need to try something different. Don't know what that something would be, because I do think this looks very much like an Albert's Inferno draft, but maybe they need to branch out a little bit. On the other side, I mean, I wonder if Rift Sharks will get their hands on some of these characters again. I can imagine a world where the lock gets banned. I don't think it's been the most oppressive pick this game, but I still think it is quite strong, especially when you're on red side and that R3 slot comes along and you have a really good chance to see, is this a good lock game? I just don't know if Albert's Inferno will ban it, because that would mean they have to either drop one of the fishy bans or they need to drop the Syndra ban. And Syndra is, I think, just as much of a threat as the lock, if not more. Looks like his Wi-Fi is back, but his internet is not.
Hmm.
So, what kind of tiramisu do you guys like?
Oh man. Yeah. I like all
It's
those
okay. This is
things.
nothing compared to the PT Meta Busters
A
hour.
summoner has reconnected.
An hour.
Looks like there's a reconnection. You remember that, Alec, last season? It was the hour delay that we had.
Oh my gosh, yes, the hour delay. Oh my gosh, that was so long. I was actually losing my mind.
I didn't lose my mind, but I lost my voice,
Yeah.
which I'm starting to do already. So I'm worried about game 2 and a
Oh,
potential
yeah.
game 3.
I'll pick up the slack.
Thank you for doing that.
I'm saving my voice for the later games.
Surely. Canuck is
Drew does say he wants to
reconnected.
see.
The modem
Yeah.
has been fixed, I think. Hopefully.
Drew says he wants to see Brian pull out Ash or Caitlyn. He saw it on those two. I do think something like a Caitlyn is something that could work. I think the worry that's like the kind of different I would like, a real kind of paradigm shift. But I do think Snow is probably the ADC in the server that is most open to and comfortable on mages. And I think that's kind of one of the best ways to push back on the Caitlyn pick is with a mage bot.
A summoner
So-
has reconnected.
I think into pretty much any other team, that'd be a great adaptation. But they need to be more careful with the Caitlyn pick into Rift specifically. Because as Millie mentioned earlier, Snow's champ pool is truly tremendous. Almost as wide as McKinley's ADC pool.
And apparently his jungle full too.
Yeah, the Cassante jungle was a treat to watch.
The champion strong just put it in the jungle.
Yep. I really think the shift of jungle in recent years to be more easily accessible to champions that are not traditionally thought of as junglers is bad. I think it is
No,
meaningful when certain characters are able to clear substantially faster than others. And when certain characters are able to gank substantially faster than others. Or substantially better.
No. If I have to deal with champion diversity in the bot lane, you all can deal with Kog'Maw jungle and Cassante jungle.
ADCs when their role changes for the first time in 12 years.
Genuinely.
Yeah, hopefully Canucks internet functions. I'd be a bit concerned if the pause time does run out. Actually, I don't even remember. If you run out of pause time, you don't get it back, right? Once it's over? How does that work?
I have no clue on the ruling.
Like, just even like in League, I don't even think you get your pause timer back. I think like once it's like out, it's out. I think.
Oh yeah, no, there's 30 minutes. Yeah, in League there's 30 minutes.
And you get 30 minutes, and like that's it.
I thought you were saying if they would have pause time in the next game
Yeah.
and Scrim Zone rules, and that I have no clue. I don't know if there's been a pause this long in Scrim Zone. Or at least I don't think last season had a pause this long.
Yeah, this is a unfortunate event.
What Brewer said about potentially seeing an Ash or Caitlyn. I think Ash would be a great
Someone needs to drive
look.
Canuck to the nearby coffee shop library. Bring a laptop. It's time to boot it up. This is the way. This is the way forward. I fear.
When's somebody gonna post something awesome in the Clips channel, also known as the Drama channel?
1 sec. I got
That's what I'm
this.
waiting for.
Many people have been waiting for this. Oh, we're in game. He's back. 120 people. He's standing. He's on hotspot. Canuck is on hotspot. He has connected his phone. Oh, that's gonna be a pause. Hold on. It's gonna be a little buggy. Okay, unfortunately, I think we will.
A summoner has disconnected.
Hopefully, it should be fine. Hopefully it doesn't be too buggy. Make sure it's working. Okay, I think we're fine for now. All right, we're good. Canuck has taken one for the team, so to speak. Playing on very high ping now, unfortunately. So that is quite a sight to behold.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
I worry that this does not bode well for the side Albert's Inferno. As many things could occur. It looks like that the Baron, however, is just being angled here at this stage of the game.
I completely forgot the state the game was in during that pause.
So now here is the Baron. Not much of a meaningful contest coming out. They are trying to angle the 1,000 strike attack. Owen gets burnt out, and it looks like the Baron finish is being played for. And I think they're just going to immediately look for a turn if they really want to. After the Baron, it looks like that.
I think it's a little hard without the Orn ult.
Yeah, Albert's Inferno is just going to have to get out of there. Man. Jinx Rockets did nothing to the Orn there. Albert might just look to get Ritual Nose connected. There is the auto attack damage purgatory on top. As pursued, actually doesn't quite get the damage done. The Dazzle actually does connect, however, and the Rockets don't quite connect, but a really nice engage from French's quickness and a grand entrance on top to get an ultimate knockup. And Fishy is coming in from the flank. He doesn't quite connect with Blade's reach, but Smite, Unruled Trespass, not very fair at all. And it looks like that there's not much they can do. Not trying to get something done in the back line, but I mean, he's just a lone dragon, and the flash Q or the Q flash I should say, from So doesn't quite connect, and he actually ends up dying to the Jinx, giving Ryan a critical reset. And I'm not sure if Ripshark's...
I think he forgot that Nocturne was up.
Yeah, but Nocturne is passing away, and it looks like that... Spirit just goes there. I think that Jinx just dies under the turret, but I don't think he was aware of the summoners that had been burned.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think pretty big mistake from Snow there. Could have tried to end the game if he hadn't gone for that deep dive. Don't think they're in a bad position necessarily. They still easily gonna grab this Chem Soul.
Just gonna get the Dragon Soul over here. Or Rift Sharks. I think we are gonna see. Oh no, we do see the rocket.
For steal.
Oh, it's nice
Gets
steal
the steal.
actually from Albert, able to steal away the Chemtech Soul. or not the Sentinel solo out, but rather the Dragon. But it looks like Brian caught off on the side, the Ignite from Severus with the Ashen Pursuit, Ritual Nails on top.
I'm surprised at base. I think they could have just ended the game with the 2-man advantage that they just got.
Yeah, I feel like that
You're
they're
playing it more cautious than I would think.
I feel like it's just and trying to build up some rage and get this Dragon or that Fury. Get his ultimate ready, and now it is ready.
Snow.
Done.
So a little scared of Snow getting picked off by the Nocturne, but 4 members of Rift Shark just going to swarm around him at this when his can take down the turret.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ezreal's a pretty hard target to go for.
Albert not going to be able to burn. He's here Neuer in time. He's going to be taken down. And it might just be a sweep of Severus here. The Taric ulti ends up getting burned.
Can Oak just get one shot?
I mean,
Didn't get time to use the ult.
At no time, basically. I mean, same with Albert as well. And look at there's going in again. The Dazzle type. Onto anyone, the exhaust is burned, but it's a bit too late, a bit too little, as well as it looks like that there's not much here really to defend. Yeah, and that's just gonna be a nice, clean game 1 victory for Rift Sharks. Really dominating win. I felt that was pretty, like it was pretty stable until that one dragon fight, and then it kind of just started to get significantly more lopsided from there. All right.
Yeah, I mean, we were commenting at the beginning of the game at how, what I think it was 13 minutes in, and there was 3 kills. We were talking about how it's a slow game, and that's generally a good sign. But then I think the dragon that happened very shortly after the game opened for Rift Sharks let them kind of just do whatever they want after that. So I think great job from the side of Rift Sharks on picking up that first win in this series.
Yeah, really great job from Rift Sharks, able to get that win. Hold on 1 second.
I mean, I think that their game being as even as it was at 13, 15 minutes is kind of a testament to that. I mean, they have the laning prowess to match up in the early game against all the members of Rift Shark. So if they clean up the team fighting just a little bit, I think we could very easily have a 3-game series on our hand here.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, looking back, it looked like a dominant game, but you do bring up a good point that it went a very long time looking very even. So maybe they can just go for the same strategy and approach that first fight differently, because I do think that was just not a good approach at all. And had that fight gone their way, it could have just as easily looked like a 27-minute win from the side of Albert's Inferno. So I talked a lot about wanting to see them change it up, but I could understand if they don't. We will get to see when the draft starts. It looks like draft links haven't even been sent yet, but I'll be curious to see whether or not Albert's Inferno chooses to take red side over blue side.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see as well what they end up deciding to take.
Because I'm really shocked that they didn't just take the Lilia B1 themselves. I thought that was going to be... I mean, I talked before the draft began. I thought it was going to be either you ban the Lilia as red side or figure out a way to draft into it. But Albert's Inferno on the blue side decided to ban it, which was really surprising to me. I think the Nocturne I mean, I think Nocturne's a solid pick, but I think the Ezreal was a great response. I think the Can's a good response. I don't think Rift Sharks is a team that is as vulnerable to it as a lot of the teams last season. I think the kind of Nocturne meta was so prevalent because not a lot of players were comfortable on picks that were good into it, and there was a lot of people playing it. I'm surprised that the Nocturne banning has been so prevalent so far in the tournament. And we've seen from the first game, maybe it doesn't need to be banned as much because it seems like people have finally learned how to play into it a little better, not just through drafting, but also in their gameplay. Or maybe it's just Rift Sharks that knows how to do it.
I'm curious to see what side they choose. If they do pick red side, I would like to see the focus, the carry focus kind of shift more towards either Omar or Kanak. I mean, getting those counter picks and ideally getting a lane in the side that is just insanely ahead. I think that's kind of the way you have to play into this Rift Sharks comp. They're a really solid 4 team or
It looks
five
like the
team
draft
rather.
is starting actually,
Yeah, it looks
and
like there's excuse me for
Albert's
once.
Inferno has
Yeah.
chosen for red side. There once again, I mean, definitely when you're on red side, you need to ban the Lilia.
Yeah. So
They actually opt for the Nocturne ban, so a change in their approach coming out.
flip the assets. Excuse me.
And the Lilia, so we're either going to see the Syndra or the Hecarim left open because they themselves are banning the Nocturne. Hecarim's free. Will Fishy first pick it? I think we've seen him do it before. And it looks like he's going to go for it. I mean, Millie Alec, what do you make of this? Do you think that this is the correct decision for Albert's Inferno? Do you think they should have let the Hecarim through, or
I
think
think
this will be a big mistake?
I mean, I think that at some point you probably I think it's kind of hard because now it's like they probably don't want to pick. I mean, they're not gonna. They really are just worried about play. Maybe actually I don't think they actually left Hecarim through. I think that they probably just banned it. I think that you just gotta play in the Nocturne. I think you just have to play intelligently into Nocturne. Like that's like kind of like what you have to do. When it comes to Nocturne.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hecarim is kind of the same way. Oh, Brewer was correct. We are seeing
Sorry
a
about that.
Caitlyn game come out. I'm curious, will Snow pick a mage into this? Or maybe some other matchup?
Oh my.
Silas, you see the Amumu, you can go for it. Now, Snow's a really good Silas. I don't know if he plays at bot lane much, but Snow being a 5-role player has naturally picked up the Silas, who's also a 5-role champion. So this could be his. I think the Caitlyn's probably a bit hard. And they opt for the Nautilus pick. I mean, this really could be Snow Silas.
Yeah, this
I don't think it is, but it definitely could be.
definitely could be. It would be interesting to see. I feel like what? Ooh, I'm not a fan of that. I feel like you should just pick like I think Karma actually is like the the best pick here. But they don't go for the Karma. Instead, they do have a Talia now, but I don't really like Talia too much. Because I feel like that it doesn't really stop Silas that well, as you would think.
Yeah, their read is definitely that it's Silas mid, and they think that Talia is the best response they have into it. I don't think it's the best response, and I don't think it's certain that it's mid. So I don't agree with this pick too much. I also think when it was picked in the QC series, the Talia, I think it had a really good play in game one, but outside of that, you didn't see too many roams with the ult. You didn't see any sort of CS advantage or priority advantage in the laning phase. I wasn't very impressed with the Talia, so I need to see it do better than it did then. Maybe Omar has a lot of experience playing Talia into the Silas matchup, and the Smolder matchup was just unfamiliar, but I think something needs to be different. They choose the Thresh to go with the Caitlyn. I think that's a pretty classic pairing. Is that right, Millie?
Yeah, it's definitely not most Caitlin's first choice, but I think that the Thresh pairs really well with the Talia, with the ability to flay them onto the rocks, and then as well as being able to hook someone into the trap is really nice in lane.
And there's the Xerath that I'm fully expecting to be in the hands of Snow.
I'm curious to see what they pick here top. I feel like I feel like they have all the damage they'll ever need still. They might just go for a bit more.
I could see a Bruiser still.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on.
Let's hit Jhin here.
Silas top.
Oh, that is quite interesting.
Silas top blind. So notably, Albert's Inferno banned the Silas.
This could very easily be a Hecarim top.
I'm not sure if you want to be giving Silas that ulti.
I also think a lot of top laners can really ruin Silas's day. Set, Renekton, Darius, any of the other myriad juggernauts that exist in League. Most bruisers will just completely dominate Silas in lane. I don't think Singed is going to be able to do that. And Singed does well in team fights into Silas later. You do give him the really strong ult with the massive amount of stats, but it's good in the fights. I'm thinking that's the read, but I just don't know if it was the best choice.
I think that the set is available for Canuck, and he plays it. So
I mean, I also think that gives you a way to kind of bypass the Nautilus and the Silas and get access to the Jhin and Xerath. I don't know if they necessarily have the best follow-up. I mean, I don't know. It's a weird team from Albert's Inferno. It's actually pretty similar. 3 of the same champions as their game 1 into QC. Maybe I can't remember who the support was playing in that series, in that game, the first one into QC. They definitely had the Jinx that game.
yeah, they have the Jinx. I remember that.
And I definitely remember the Amumu, Talia, and Singed. Yeah, I mean,
Which draft do you guys favor more?
Rev
Um,
Sharks.
Yeah, I think Rift Sharks draft.
I just think it has a more balanced breakdown in terms of damage. I think this Albert's Inferno team, I mean, I think the Singed does play well into the champions on the side of our Sharks, but you already have the Talia and Amumu, so it's going to be hard to... Like, the enemy team is probably going to be building resistances. You also are into mixed damage threats, so you probably need to get some sort of bulk into both of them. Your ult does provide a good chunk, but you can't just die to a stray Nautilus Hook. You can't just die to a stray Zerath Stone or Jin Root. So it's not the easiest game to play. And then the solo AD on the Caitlyn, I think putting solo AD or solo of any damage type into the other team's best player, and I would say arguably this season, I think Snow could be argued to be the best player in the server. I think that's just a big risk, and I mean we'll see if it pays off, but I think Rift is going to take this game.
Yeah, I think they're gonna take this game as well. I just don't really see. Where. Man, I feel like all their lanes are pretty. All these lanes are pretty not so easy. I mean, I feel like both solo lanes are relatively hard to punish. For the side of Rift Sharks, like I feel like those lanes like Silas and Xerath like aren't really too punishable in this game. And I think that bot lane is generally a bit more closer to even than it is leaning towards either side. I think that it is slightly more Caitlyn Thresh favored. But I think that's just due to the fact that Caitlyn is just a like very prolific like lane bully for an AD carry.
I feel like Jin is one of the more resilient ones into Caitlyn. Is that correct, Millie?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Which what makes it like so much more even.
Yeah,
I mean,
go ahead.
for the bot lane matchup, I mean, the Jhin was a good pick. I think the Nautilus is really going to struggle in this lane. There's a chance that like Caitlyn Thresh can just kill a Nautilus very easily in the early levels. He's big. He's got a giant hitbox. Has to walk into melee. If he gets caught by a hook in a trap, there is a chance he just loses his whole health bar. If they go lethal tempo, they have the option to walk him down. So I mean, I think Inferno has definitely has options to get leads in lane. I actually think mid lane might be one of the more punishable lanes. I don't think you can punish this Silas on all though.
Yeah, I mean, if Xerath oversteps, he can definitely die, but he doesn't really have a reason to, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree there. I think the Jhin Xerath on 4-5 was a really good answer into this kind of counter engage play style. It's like kite back, drop your traps, throw a bunch of like push back at them. Xerath and Jhin are really good into that. On paper, though, I think I've seen the Singed thing do some very incredible things. So just to be a contrarian, I'm going to say that I favor Inferno's draft.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is on the shoulders of Singed Caitlyn, but I just don't think they've been given the easiest game to do that. I also think, we're saying Caitlyn Thresh lane. Alec, you were saying you think it's slightly Caitlyn Thresh favored.
Yeah.
Millie, it sounds like you were maybe saying it was more than slightly. And I think it definitely needs to be more than slightly, because Caitlyn's a character where you're really trying to come out of lane ahead. If you're coming out of lane even as Caitlyn, I don't think you've really done your job. You kind of want to have plate advantage over your opponent. You don't need kills or anything, but you're trying to get a few plates and make them drop a few DS in the lane.
Minions have spawned.
So, expecting that out of Inferno's bot lane. As level 1 fight breaks out.
Yeah. They look like they don't care, actually. It looks like they just want to get a kill on the Hong, blah, blah. And there is the kill. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. I forgot to switch to the game. I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to go back, actually, just so that we can watch this again. Apologies for that. I don't know why it's not showing it. There it goes.
I mean, a little bit of split focus there, and then they get that hook in the middle brush early before the Caitlyn is in position, and they're just able to kill Hong before.
Exciting start to the game, and I think this is really, really, really bad for the Caitlyn lane. I was just saying you need to come out of lane more than even. You need to come out ahead, and you're starting out behind, so very rough start for Albert's Inferno. Sin shoving the way very quick though. Silas is quite good at lasting creeps under tower because of his passive.
Actually on Ryan.
Barrier gets used.
On the Peacemaker. Very good. Pops remaining for the Jhin, but he does have Fleet Football, so he will have some sustain to play with in this lane.
Maybe this health is deceptively high with the barrier.
Mm-hmm. He also managed to break Thresh's bone plating with the Q, which you'd love to see if you're a Rift Sharks fan. Fight starting top.
Double both hooks are traded. The W coming out from the Jhin doesn't quite get the root, but it looks like Frentek actually, that's not a hook you want to take, and he ends up falling down at the end of it.
There you go. As you were saying, Millie, the Nautilus is a vulnerability in this lane. Is decently able to die, and I think Canuck just burger flipped a minion.
Yeah.
He needed it. It's called wave management. I don't know if you mid laners know about that.
Maybe not.
All we do is push.
However, I think that I'm having a bit of trouble here. Fishy trying to dash
getting
forward. Not gonna be able to do anything. 90 caliber net. Keeping the heck from at bay, so no horse shenanigans can continue.
He's a little ahead of clear, and this is what I was saying. I really don't think you need to overstep as the Xerath, is because you, I think, expect, not just because of the champion, but also because of the player, Fishy to out-clear Albert. That is something that Albert is, I would say, weaker at, is farming, but I think he does a great job getting ganks off.
Here mid, gonna end up having Omar's flash burned. Nice roam up from Frentek.
That's why you take the Hex Flash. And that's also why you use your wards. Found a little unboarded pocket. Oh my word. That was close.
Managed tossed. Quite connecting from the side of our
Fishy getting spotted at the beginning of his clear here.
I think they knew he was going to be there anyways, though. I don't think that's a meaningful thing to spot out. I think he was destined to be farming the only camp that was up at that time.
Pretty true. I mean, who knows? Maybe he's running into Albert's jungle for a psycho invade.
Perchancebly.
Yeah.
Does not sound like something we would do on the channel.
So we're going low on mana. Needs to try and find a time to base and spend some money here. I will say big CS lead coming out from Canuck. Just able to shove the waves in quickly, and I mean, Silas is a character where if the wave just comes under your tower, you are able to get all the minions, but don't know if Dean is aware of the method. So he's dropping a few and chasing the Singed, who's proxying. Never a good idea if you don't have other people coming for you.
Good idea.
Great hook.
Dredge line going in with Deadly Splurge on top. And flaking out from Hong Blah with the Depth Sentence on top of Frentic. 90 caliber net. A lot of damage coming through. Nice headshots onto Frentic, but Fishy.
Here comes Fishy.
In the area. He has arrived. There's a devastating charge. Spear to Dredge. And Brian flashing forward, maybe trying to get a kill onto Snow. Can't quite get it. The Deadly Flourish connect, however, onto Hong Baba. But it looks like that Frentic's going to get pulled into the turret. So that's actually going to be a trade of kills as Frentic is exchanged his life for Brian at the end of it all.
A trade of kills, but you're losing a lot of CS under that tower.
Yeah, huge wave.
I was at like 2 waves built up, gone. Dean's going for the base here, needs to get something to help him out with these mana issues. Could just be some damage, but he actually opts for a null magic. He is into magic damage top side, so it is smart to invest in some defenses. I think you could have maybe done that next base, but playing on the safe side here.
Omar doesn't have flash available, so might be in trouble. But Arcana Pulse connects with the Dredge line, misses a bit. Sidestep away, and it looks like that with the Eye Destruction on top is able to help to land the stun, and the Lantern comes in, but it's a bit too late as Omar is falling down.
Great punish on the flashless mid laner there. You can see it wasn't necessarily executed the best, but that's a situation where you're so far that you're going to die no matter what. Good response from the side of our Sharks. And the game is pretty much just as even as it was in the last series at this point. Small CS lead for Rift Sharks overall. Or I guess I should say small gold lead for Rift Sharks overall. They're actually behind in CS this game. Or maybe just about even. But they do have a plate mid and a plate. No, they're not having plates either. That one kill does not make that much of a gold difference. I'm very confused.
That's how we're looking at damage panel. He doesn't quite have any more mana. I'm not quite sure if he could be able to kill the same ball. He does end up doing it, but he doesn't have any mana left for abilities. Looks like that Canuck is just trying to run him down, flips him again, trying to get some more damage in. Has the previous moves applied, so I'm sure he's going to be able to come in at all, but not like he can do anything because he was mana-less at that point.
There was my worry, if you're playing Silas in this game and you don't have enough damage to kill Canuck before you run out of mana, you're going to get stuck in situations like that, and you're going to be stuck in situations like the one where he had his first base, where you're going to have to give up minions because you're out of mana and you're unable to fight. And he's finished the Mercs now, which won't actually make him tankier. It doesn't give any more Mar. So, no extra combat power coming out from his most recent base. I think this CS lead top is going to grow over the next few minutes.
Looks like the Dragon is going to be taken by the side of Rift Sharks as a game a bit more fast-paced than the other one, but still definitely on the slower side of the Scrim Zone game so far this season. Nice cancel coming out with the Deadly Flourish from the side of Snow.
And I think if you're Alberts, you're okay with giving some of these early dragons, give Canuck time to scale up, that way he can be a monster in these later team fights. Do you think he is kind of your primary win con in this kind of team comp? Especially with the Mumu boosting his damage, maybe even with an Abyssal Mask or something, it could really do some damage on this.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a Abyssal Mask or Bloodletters or both coming out.
There's going to actually be the Death Sentence and there's onto the trap actually. I believe that was the net. Excuse me.
Clearing out a pink. Really defensive pink from the side of Rift. It's been there for a while, I believe.
Yeah.
I wonder what prompted that, because I don't think Albert is known for invading that much. Don't think Amumu is known for invading that much. I guess it could just be to spot the Singed going for a roam or a proxy, but
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was placed by Dean earlier when he was kind of in danger of getting dove. He was pretty low, had no mana. Could be
It could
what
have
it
been.
is.
I mean, I personally think too much of a gold loss too early in the game to justify pinking there. That doesn't matter too much, as they've secured the bot scuttle.
Truthfully, that's arguably one of the most important objectives in the game. That Scuttle Crab, the morale boost it gives, incredible.
I mean, I'm not sure. Could you press N to bring up the dragon timer? 2.5 minutes, so it won't overlap. When you do get the scuttle outside of the objective that you're fighting for, whether it's the dragon or the baron, it is quite nice. Especially notably on a character like Hakram, where you get damage from the movement speed. And his E gives him, I believe, a multiplicative boost to his movement speed.
Stepping out from Scrims. He actually might be in a bit of trouble. He might have to flash away. Looks like they are looking for the play. There's a flash forward coming in from Hong. He's able to get the flash out of Severus. Look at how he's caught in the river, and it looks like the shoot there with that same charge, able to get forward, go forward with the rampage. I don't think he's in trouble himself. He might have to burn the curse, as looks like the death charge is on. Current Holly burn, and it looks like the Gleam as well actually betrays him, and there's the onslaught of shadows actually maybe look for something here onto Omar. I'm not quite sure if they're going to be able to do it, and it looks like there's the stun, and there is the finishing touch coming in from Snow, able to get the kill, as Fishy does end up falling down, but they're able to get multiple kills on the back end for the side of Rift Sharks.
So much
Snow
patience
just-
there on the last shot.
Took the words right from my mouth.
I mean, there was like 2 moments there where I'm like, oh, he's gonna shoot, but waited till the very end. Great stun from Starver on the Xerath. Secures the 4th shot for Snow, and that's a lot of Huber stacks for this point in the game. You're going to have to be worried about that if you're on the side of Albert's Inferno.
Playing with a Hakram frontline with that much range is
Actually,
by no means easy.
have Spawn and have Duck coming from, you know, looks like that he will get away, but he does have a Hector chasing him, but he does also have Ghost, Nimbus Cloak, and Flash available to him, and so he burns everything, which does end up getting him out of there.
Notably, though, Dean burned his flash as well. Didn't realize how far away the Singe would be. Flashes over the Gromp wall. And gets to see Singed on the edge of his screen leaving. Unfortunate little exchange there, but the game is still in a very fine spot. Most players at this point have their first item. It'll be the Thresh and Silas are the 2 missing it. So I'm sure Dean is close to being able to buy it, or maybe already can, just needs to get the base off. And Thresh should also, at this point, have enough, I believe.
That. He's looking for something here onto Canuck, but he can't quite do anything. He doesn't really have much to be able to do. Canuck gonna start proxying the wave. It looks like there's actually a TP here. It's actually gonna be a TP to contest this dragon, as it looks like they are trying to look for something here. Printing is the target, that they are looking for. And that Fishy, however, might be the target they have found, but no, they're not quite. Canuck's not quite able to flip over the wall. He just puts on land and goes right back to safety. Ooh, really nice right of the Arcane Barrage coming out from Severus. Let's get Omar's health critically low. But
Yeah, good aiming from the ult, but everyone was full, so nobody's gonna die to that unless you landed literally all of the shots.
Yeah, the hook doesn't quite connect, but the dredge line does, and it looks like that they might be looking for a bit more of a fight here in the bot side. The core shot actually does end up connecting, and it looks like that Snow is looking for something with the current call. He doesn't quite hits one, and I'm not quite sure if he hits the last one here. He's waiting. He ends up hitting it actually. So good damage coming out actually, and there's the flourish, and if you can get to the grenade, bouncing grenade actually with the ignite ticking down, Frenton gets the kill. And I didn't really see the kill angle there, but I guess that they did.
I mean, that's what makes Snow such a threat, is finding the kills that other people can't see. Great Q coming out there.
I'm actually
I really love watching the Jin Q when it's killed 3 targets and it's slowly falling onto the last person.
I'm very happy about Snow's build. I'm a big fan of this Jin build. It's the Hubris into Phantom Dancer build. You just go like Hubris PD, and you basically the only reason you pretty much take PD is because you just want the stats. You don't care about anything else.
That's all it really gives.
Yeah, that's all you care. You just really like the stats because just being able to fire faster as Jin. The attack speed is really nice.
Does that increase his attack speed? I thought that attack speed only.
It is not, but it does give him a bigger AD conversion.
Yeah, it gives, excuse me, the attack damage conversion. I don't know why I said attack speed. My apologies.
And it does give you the
does
movement
increase his
to slide
reload
around.
speed though.
Just reload faster.
That's why they call Berserkers reload boots.
Sometimes you have to reload as Jin.
Not that much though, the way Snow's been playing.
But here's the right of the Arcane. Arcane in a bit of trouble here. However, he does have the Talia wall movement speed to dodge away from those garages. It looks like Severus might be in a bit of trouble himself. He does have the flash with burn. It looks like that the Arcane pulse doesn't quite connect. It does actually, but the fruit is available for Omar, so he's going to be able to live. However, they might be looking for a bit more here. Canuck is in the bot side. And top lane has been basically almost abandoned by Canuck. I mean, like, if you look at the state of it, you kind of understand why. It looks like that, however, there's the Onslaught of Shadows over. Brian flashing over the wall, but Fishy going to follow with the devastating charge. However, he might be caught himself. Where's the hook on top? The Crystal Sadness is still available. He's getting flipped over, not much he can do. He's living for so long, though, on this Hecarim, but he ends up falling down in the end. And there's the flash forward hook from Teddy. Doesn't quite connect. Snow definitely dodges away from the exhausted burn. And I'm not sure if this looks like it can be done here, because here is the Singed gaming along with a lot of CC coming from Albert's Inferno. They turn around the fight.
Great fight for AI, but you gotta ask yourself, why did Rift Sharks take it? You know, Canuck shoved in that top wave, had a huge window of time where he could be on the map, and Dean on the Silas couldn't. So I feel like you kind of need to expect that it's an outmanned fight, and the Xerath got caught at the beginning of it, so they take what's basically a 3v5 and end up paying dearly for it.
Yeah, end up paying dearly for it as... Yeah, should we say, I don't think that Trent really has any way of pursuing him, especially with the Ghost and Ultimate both being out of there.
Yeah, Canuck now has the Leandri Rylai's kind of core items, and last time we saw him play Singed, I should say, we saw him go the Protoplasm Harness. I wonder if we'll see that again.
And there's actually a hook actually canceling the 90 caliber net to get away, so Ryan's actually just dead. The hook does end up connecting onto Snow, but I mean, it's only gonna like result in 2 tower shots, and then he continues to stack. However, Canuck has arrived. This is the Singed, and someone might get flipped like a burger, but no, Canuck actually doesn't have ultimate available, so he has not really that many stats, or nor is he that tanky, so he ends up getting taken down by the Xerath at the end of it all.
Tag, you're in.
That's what you gotta watch out for when you're playing a character who is conditionally tanky, is You need to play towards those conditions. Hope was, I mean, it was probably 2 seconds when he died on cooldown. Just have to be a little bit more patient. Barely didn't get in range. Great auto from Frantic to root him.
I mean, what do you think for a defensive option? What would you like to see? Same for really.
Millie, what do you think?
Defensive option. I mean, he'll probably have to go both Force of Nature and Deadman's, but I'd like to see the Deadman's first. Actually, I think the extra movement speed can kind of help him navigate fights. Even better than he already is. He has a lot of ability to navigate them. But that's kind of conditional on him having Ghost. Once he gets Deadman's, he can kind of play like smaller skirmishes without Ghost. So, hoping it's a Deadman.
That's what I would say as well. A lot of skill shots on the side of Rift Sharks that if you get hit by, there's going to be another 3 or 4 or 5 coming that will probably just kill you. So you need to make sure that you can dodge the first one. Deadman's, in my opinion, is just the best choice for doing that. Also gives you the armor that you need to survive this Gen and Hecarim damage. I really hope it isn't the Protoplasm Harness. I know it is synergy with Sinjolt. I still just don't think it's what he needs this game.
You could also see him build into Bloodletters. I'd like to see Albert be the one to pick up the Bloodletters. He's already got the Abyssal Mask, so I mean that duo. If you get Canuck and Albert in, a nice ult from Albert could as Canuck's gonna.
What I thought actually. It looks like that Canuck actually is gonna get flipped right into a hook and play, and looks like that he might not be able to live. Depth charge ends up being burned. But that's actually a really nice meter as well, and the flash away actually ends up coming through. There's the ace in the hole to take down Frantic, and it looks like that they're trying to take Canuck on the opposite end. But there's the right of the Arcane as well, and it looks like that no, they're not gonna be able to snipe away really anyone at all. There's another hook being thrown out, and it looks like that AI is gonna be able to get away with the pick. But I'm not quite sure if the is going to be costing anything at all. Looks like not really. As it looks like that they might be looking for more here. Being looking for something else, and with the Silas ult, he actually takes away that threshold. I'm not sure if that's what you want to take. If you're the Silas, and it looks like there's another bandage toss on top. Being going back in, but he right into another hook. And it looks like that he'll end up just falling down as the Silas makes his appearance, but not quite the stage that you want to perform on.
Yeah, I mean, good clean pick from Inferno, but then rough overextension from the side of RS. I want to go back to the items though. Taliyah's built a Rylai's? I really don't like that purchase. I think that's an item that you really only need one person on your team to have, and Singed is probably one of the 1 or 2 best characters at applying it, so feels really redundant to me. There's a lot of items I would rather have seen on the Taliyah. Last game we saw last time Omar was playing the Taliyah, we saw Leandri, which I don't know if you need to go, but even if you just get your pin item second, already 2 mercs on the side of Rift Sharks, and you can expect some more magic resist coming eventually. That would just let you build your death cap third without any risks. You could also go for Zanya's. You might be the target of some Nautilus ults. You might be the target of some Hecarim ults. You know, it can save you if you get hit with a Jhin root. I just don't think this Rylai's is going to save you. I don't think it's going to provide any utility that Singed isn't already providing. It's low damage. I don't think this item's doing much of anything at all.
Yeah, I would have liked to see like just either just some more damage being built, or I mean, heck, I mean, Leandri's is probably fine. Actually, I think like if you actually had Archangels, this game I think would be best. Second.
We do see that Canuck has purchased a Giant's Belt and another Ruby Crystal. There are very few items that go that as.
Yeah, it's going to be the Protoplasm.
Oh,
Hook from home could
No.
have been bad. Setting up around this dragon area. This is sole point for Gift Sharks.
And actually, there's going to be a hook actually right on the team. And it looks like that he might just be hit with the Caitlyn Trapman as well. And it looks like that he's just going down. Even burning the Singed ult, not going to be enough for stats in terms of things. It looks like that Fishy is in the thick of it, but the exhaust can be burned out to prevent him from going on any more further of his rampages. However, he goes into Clear Rock, so he gets stunned for just a moment. It looks like that the Xerath is trying to aim for the Caitlyn, doesn't quite connect with anything, though. It looks like that Snow having to retreat for now, able to pick off the Amumu, but now it's just the carries left, and they don't really have anyone in front of them, but a nice pick up from Surveyors. There is the root on top. It looks like that they are going to be able to get the kill onto the Thresh here, just maybe, and oh, I don't know. It looks like actually no, they're not going to be able to. So it is going to be 3 for 2 for Albert's Inferno. Another favorable fight for them. Ooh, and a deadly flourish in mid, barely missing out.
Favorable in terms of them getting more gold from the kills, but they actually don't get any sort of on-map advantage from that. Chinook gets a fast base off, which means he will get to the dragon first. Canceling Snow's base multiple times.
They're just being very annoying here as Singed. There's Ghost actually popped a dodge with the deadly flourish. I guess he is just trying to keep them here for just a bit more longer.
I mean, at this point, it's really hard to base. The Albert's Inferno could just go for the dragon if you take a base now.
Yeah. Definitely a great with the
Plant gets Sarv back up to a little over half mana. That's huge.
able to take away first and sad mummy. Now they'll and maybe he can find the huge ultimate. He just tries to look somewhere. Seems to be his moment, but it looks like that Albert actually going out with a huge 4-man stun, and maybe that's something else going to turn here as well. But it looks like that Canuck actually trying to do everything he can to get some of that Singed poison down, and yes, it is working, because Fishy ends up falling down. Frentic going to end up dying as well. The right of the arcane. Sorry for looking for something at all. The current ends up coming out from the side of Snow. He's now just looking for some kills at all, and boom! Huge damage actually coming out from the Jhin, and maybe he can get another auto off, and yes, he takes down the Canuck as well. The root coming in with a flourish. The cook goes completely wide, and Snow is killing everyone, and it's perfect because it's just 4 for the Jhin.
I was gonna say the fight had the same result, but they keep pushing it, and this time, you know, Snow and Sarv were able to successfully win the fight from the 2v3 position. Really well done from those two, and good CC from the side of the rest of Rift Sharks before they ended up dying. They get a bunch of damage from both teams in that choke. I think Albert's Inferno definitely came out ahead at the beginning of that, but the maneuverability from the Jhin, the hubris being so stacked, giving so much damage, is making these fights so good for Rift Sharks. And you just gotta admire how well Snow's playing the fights as well.
This has to be such a... I feel like this has to be such an annoying game for the Hack Room. Like, I kind of like didn't even think about it too much, but like, kind of like trying to see like... Oh, and actually, it looks like we should have another fight breaking out. It looks like that Albert's just going to get blown up instantly. The Jhin is really strong, and the rest of the things nearby, so yeah, the Amu's just dead. And this is probably the Chemtech is still going over. The critical death is not nearby, as Kern is opened up right onto the Caitlyn. Looks like that's the Xerath Jhin combo, and huge damage actually. There's also a lot of shadows to finish the job onto Omar, and Canuck now just flipping away the Hecarim, but ends up being popped by the Deadly Flourish. Looks like that Dean maybe looking for something a bit himself.
The fourth shot.
Xerath is just killing people from full HP from 4 screens away.
That was horrifying, and once again, the hubris buff got refreshed. You need to not fight when it's stacked. You need to try and get a kill onto him and the Xerath, but they're not able to find it. I mean, I think this is I was saying at the beginning, this draft is kind of two-pronged. You have these really good long-range dual magic physical carries with the Xerath and the Jhin, but then you also have these two bruisers that can play the fight in a different way. But the bruisers on Rift Shark are not super far ahead. I'm not gonna... Fishy actually has a lot of items, but not compared to Snow in this game. So you need to focus the backline here. I don't think the Hecarim and Silas are going to be able to win the fight afterward if you burst them down, but they just keep having a hard time getting this Jhin, which is making it just so hard for them to play.
Yeah, making it really, really difficult to play. I mean, there's a lot of things in this game that aren't quite dubious for the side. Sharks' chin is really, really strong at this point. I mean, he has another, like, 6 items as needed. It's like a slot available. We'll have a bit more money and can get something a bit better than the Doran's helm.
Probably just a Maw.
Yeah. Just
Could be
there is a look actually
Espentar.
unofficially into the prison. Looks like that he's used all the out to try to get himself away. Able to get away from now, but Death Stance actually ends up killing him at the end of it. He took a bit too much damage, a bit too soon, and then Albert just
walking a little far.
Yeah, the chin ult to the face. I'm not quite sure if he wants to do that. Protoplasm heart actually, Protoplasm heart ends up getting burned, and this Jhin is just so lethal.
I mean, that Protoplasm healed like 400 HP. It made no difference at all.
Let's see if I can see what's going on here. Yeah, he's getting quite a bit of AD from this.
Almost 120 AD from one item. Pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah, he has 900, almost 980 as a Jhin. That is pretty epic.
Oh my word. That's something else.
Yeah, definitely something else.
BF sword. What's that building into?
Yun Tong.
I don't play enough AD characters to know what BF sword builds into. I know it builds into the Bloodthirster and the IE, which he already has.
Most likely Storm Wave, though. Could be GA also.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be GA.
I mean, I really think you could build some magic resist. I can understand the worry of getting just comboed. I'm not, to be honest, I don't think the game's gonna last long enough for him to finish the item either way.
Yeah. So either. However, the Jhin is now sneaky perception on. He just has one off. But on one kill could send it back. A little crazy. We are going to be looking for a play here onto the Jhin. And it looks like that actually the ground is actually really nice. It looks like that, with not lost available, he's actually going to be falling down, but a huge amount of damage is able to be pumped out before things go too dangerous here. But Frederick is all alone. The depth charge ends up being burned. Looks like Albert could look for something here. I mean, this is going to be some kills going over. Really nicely done from them. It looks like Severus is in a bit of trouble here. You don't really want to be channeling anything there, as it looks like that now it's just Dean and Fishy in a world of hurt. I mean, there's the flash play forward. It looks like that Fishy might be going down himself, but he's actually just gonna Snook actually just dies in the end, but it looks like that Fishy is gonna be ended and taken down. Flash barrier gonna have to be exhausted, but he's not a grind, and it looks like that Dean gonna be able to burn the ultimate into the Zonias, but you've just Zonias on the Caitlyn trap. There's a headshot coming through for Brian, and Ace actually for the side of Albert's Inferno.
That started horribly for Rift Sharks. I mean, I don't know. I wish I knew what the comms were like, but Snow was left all alone. That's not something that should generally happen. We'll have to hear about that in a post-game interview if they win, or if they don't, we'll just have to guess, I guess, why the calls were so split. But that notably is only his second death, and he still has a shutdown. He's so far ahead. But that might be the justification for a GA. Something like that happens again, we'll be in a fine spot. He did a good job holding on to his flash there. He actually could have maybe lived if he flashed before the Singe W, but once it came down, that his fate was sealed. So he still has it up for this next fight.
still has it up and available. There's actually the hook on the Canuck. There's a force shot, but actually the Pokemon card actually keeps him alive, so no death there. And here comes the Burn Call out, actually going to be able to just shoot him anyway. Looks like Albert going in trying to do something, but he's just going to get shot in the face. It looks like that the Deadly Flourish coming through. And man, this dude is so strong. A triple kill for Snow. Make that, or actually no, Dean's going to get that kill in the end. And it looks like Snow can flash forward. Current second quadra kill of the game to keep things rolling. Keeping it perfect for the Jin. Snow 16-2, 16-2 and 10 so far in this game. And man, oh man, definitely a bit more of a fight being put up from Albert's Inferno. The Rift Sharks just one more step ahead still in this game. There you
Yeah, I
have
mean,
it.
good resistance from Albert's Inferno. I think much better job this game than the last one. And yeah, I mean, if I could go back in time, I'd tell my past self to place them higher. I think they've had some tough opponents, and they're currently 0-2, but I don't think it's bad looks for Albert's Inferno, to be honest. I think they're putting up a good fight into some of the best teams. I'm excited to see more from them in the future.
Yeah. I mean, oh, should we decide on MVPs? I mean, I have like my 2 votes for like game 1 and game 2.
Game 2 is clear, I feel.
Yeah, I think game 2 is clear as well. I would say it's Snow for game 2, but I think game 1 I would give it to I would give it personally to Frentic.
I'll second that.
I'll third that.
Yeah, I think that makes it clear. Speaking of, let's get if Snow could get in here. I'm not sure if he has perms. I'd like to talk to him specifically.
I wonder if he's in the stream listening. I'll shoot him a message. Here he is.
There he is.
Hi.
There he is.
How are you feeling after that series?
I feel pretty great. I think that was a much better gym game this week than last week, so I'm very happy with that. I got to play as girl, so that at least makes me happy.
Yeah, big showing for third best ADC in the server.
Hey, look, it's personal opinion. I can respect that.
Well, you've played against 2 teams so far, PT, former finalists, and Albert's Inferno. Which teams are you on the lookout for?
I think for teams, I mean, most of them I think have at least like a couple people I'm looking out for. For me, I think the teams I'm looking forward to facing the most are 2 come to mind. It's QC and Metabusters. Metabusters is my former team, and I think they have a lot of really good players. And QC also has like a lot of people I know. I think they also have some good players. So I think those are the 2 teams I'm looking forward the most to playing.
Yeah, Rift Sharks Metabusters is always a classic matchup, but I feel like this year there's even more of a story than last year because of you being a former Metabuster player moving on to Rift Sharks. So I'm really excited for that series as well.
Oh, and I also forgot, of course, SPS. I think they're also. I think that team Loki is like. I guess it's not underrated because I think at least one person put him in 3rd. On the pod, I thought they were put 5th on the other one, but maybe I'm wrong about that. But I think they're also like a top 4 team, so I'm looking forward to that team as well. Supposed to play them this week, but I think the schedules got shifted around, unfortunately.
I wonder if the 2 SPS players on the call have any other questions to ask.
I mean, well, actually, I only have like questions like specifically about the game. I mean, how did it feel to just have like arena stats on Jin? You had over 900 AD on Jin.
Yeah, I was a little bit strong. I do think I trolled my build a little bit by not going them all, but I kind of just like I just wanted the most AD possible in a component because I thought the game would be over before I could finish my last item. So I was just like, yeah, I'll just take the BO sword and move on with my day. But I mean, it felt good. I really like that build. It's pretty fun to play. It's like I'm still not totally used to it yet, but.
It looked very strong from my end.
Yeah, because Phantom Dancer gives Jin the most stats, and also you become ghosted. I believe it's also the highest move speed seal item, so it's like pretty nice for like damage and like movement specifically.
I did have one question
Mm.
that I wanted to have answered. There was the time you got caught top lane, and the rest of your team was kind of gone. I want to know what the comms were like at that time, because it seemed like a either rare
Yes,
slip up from you or maybe a miscommunication on the team side.
it
I'm wondering
was.
more about that.
I would say both. I think we were like kind of just on different pages of what we wanted to do there. And we actually were just talking about for you asked me for an interview, but it was basically like we just weren't on the same page, and like I think it would be easy to say, oh well, you know, next time you should just be with me, but at the same time, I also should be more aware of like what my team is doing in that scenario, and like just back off. Um, so I don't want to really be like, oh, it was like the team's fault or like whatever, but. Yeah, I think we're still learning a little bit how to communicate with each other. You know, we practice occasionally, but like I would not say we're like full dedicated, like practicing multiple days a week or anything like that. So I think it's something that will get better as the season goes along.
I have one question for you. What is your favorite kind of tiramisu?
I actually don't like tiramisu. I'm sorry. There is this like boba tea shop that's like near my place, and they have like a latte tiramisu that I'm gonna try next time I go there. So I'll have to let you know how that is. My mom said it's pretty good.
Excuse
Well,
me.
that's all the questions I have. Alec, you have anything else?
I have nothing else. Sorry, I like
What are
I
the
like reopened up like a
Oh, you're good.
league like a league replay and just played. I apologize for that.
That's all good. What are the other series? What's left this week?
I don't. I
I'm
believe
excited to cast later this week on Saturday, SPS versus PT.
Ooh, okay. We should get predictions for that. If that's
Yeah, I'll
next
try
week.
and start them either Saturday morning or Friday night.
Okay. Well,
I think
I'm trying to remember.
I personally mean I think PT after last week they'll come back with a bit of a vengeance. I still will vote SPS just because like a lot of my friends play on that team. But I think it'll be a 2-1. I think PT will show up this week.
I think I'm gonna have to go with the 2-1 PT.
Voting against
That's
your own team.
That's your own team.
I think it's gonna be a 2-0 for PT actually.
Oh my god.
I'll give my take on it on Saturday
Okay,
on the
all right.
cast.
That's fair. That's fair. I
Yeah.
can respect that.
I respect that as well. Um,
And then the other series is going to be Prosperity versus Metabusters on Sunday.
Okay. That'll be a good one, I think. I mean, I can't play against my old team, so I mean, I'll definitely say my Vester's gonna win that one. I have to give my boys some faith.
We'll see what the collective's wisdom is on that matchup.
Yeah, I
So
think the
far,
collective is still undefeated, right?
Undefeated, yeah. The collective is very wise.
Collective will
In
be.
Men in Black, they say a person can be smart, but people are dumb. I think in Scrim Zone, we're learning the opposite. Seems like people are really smart together. Or maybe the matchups have just not been very close so far. We'll find out as the season continues. But I think that's everything from all of us.
Yeah, I don't have anything
Hope
else.
everyone has a great rest of their day.
Yes. And as
I love
said,
Jakar.
as I said yesterday, make sure to have a good day, week, month, year. Where right, I said make sure to have a good night. So make sure to have a good night this night. Take care, everyone. This cast will be back. Well, I guess Sandy will be back on Saturday. I will be in a game on Saturday where Sandy will be casting, which that should be pretty exciting to see. And I think that it should be an exciting series, and I'm looking forward to what happens. And I think you all should be looking forward to your all's week. Make sure to have a good week, everyone. Take care and good night. See ya.
Bye bye.
Bye.